Interesting. Well, I mean, I feel like there are like very in your face ones, like notably like just like artists that I'm like, oh my god, your style is what I'm aiming for. Like artists I found on Instagram and stuff like that. But I think I honestly, yeah, I reckon my main inspiration now is like I really fuck with like, you know, like the like chola kind of tattoos in America. The like single needle, like super detailed
Soda
black
Gang.
and gray. Yeah, like Soda Gang. Oh,
yes.
Soda Gang
Soda
is such
Gang.
an inspo.
Yes.
She's incredible. And just like, because I feel that even though a lot of them is done with guns, there's a lot of similarities with like hand pokes. Because it's like the single needle,
yeah.
doing what you can with the materials that you have. Like even, I love like the whole like prison style tattoos. And yeah, just like working within your limitations, I reckon. So I feel like I look at that old style of tattooing the most for inspiration, but also like I really fuck with all this like new contemporary kind of tattooing that's like coming out. That's like, oh, I see a lot of ones that are like they're almost like shit tattoos. I like that too. It's cool. It's sort of just like, I don't know, people would have been getting these 20 years ago. Now it really is like, because there's like looking at your body and then putting almost like stickers on your body, and then there's really like treating it like a canvas. So yeah, I guess that would be my biggest inspiration, but also like friends, like people I meet who tattoo, and or even people I meet who just do art. I'm half Indian. I love like tribal Indian kind of tattooing, and I really want to find a way to incorporate that stuff into my work. Yeah, I think that'd be really unique. And it's like the kind of tattoos that I like getting myself, but I haven't designed anything like that before. And also like tribal, like Filipino tattoos, because I'm also half Filipino. That inspires me a lot. I feel like, oh, this is interesting. I think I was talking about this with my mate recently. Like, and I think this is why graphic design never really worked for me. Like, so much about graphic design is like working on the same concept over and over and over again, and like trialing so many different things and stuff like that. But I was always like the kind of person like, I feel like similar to you in a sense, like just drew on the side of my books and stuff like that, just heaps of like little random things, and I just draw the same motifs like over and over till I could just do it without reference and stuff like that. Cool. So I feel like so I find tattooing seems to work for me and like my process. I feel like I see things, or like I have ideas, and then I'll be like, ooh, that could be a cool tattoo concept, and then write it down or something, and then just fuck around with it and try to like make it work. I sometimes have like moments of like, oh yes, fuck yeah, that would be a good idea, and that's when I know that I've gone in the right direction with something. But most of the time it's just purely aesthetic, like this looks visually appealing, so I'm just gonna roll with it. I feel like maybe because it's like practice for myself. Like I've heard that like drawing with like pen or like pencil and stuff, and like the pen pressure and stuff like that, it like mimics a tattoo gun. So I'm kind of just like, if I can be really good at that, then hopefully you can transfer to gun, because eventually I'd like to.
You would?
Yeah, definitely. I'm kind of just saving up for it at this point. I got into hand poke just because it's accessible. Like it's so easy to get into it. Like just buy a few things, and then like, what do I even get at the start? Like literally, I reckon I stole Indian ink from school. Some needles off eBay. You can get Dettol at like the pharmacy. I never used to use Vaso or anything, so it was just so easy to get into it. And then over time, just like kept doing that and buying like more hand poke stuff. But I think it really was more of a like lack of necessities kind of thing is why I started hand poking. But at this point, like the kind of work I do, I think some hand poke artists like really, like you can tell it's like hand poked, and they're trying to really use that whole like each dot counts and you can like see each dot. But with me, I'm going towards a direction where it's like I want it to look as if it's almost done by gun.
It does.
Oh, thank you. It's literally my goal. So at this point, I'm sort of like, if I'm going for that sort of aesthetic, I might as well just get a gun. Like it'll just make things happen so much quicker and stuff. And I want to do like large scale stuff like that, because I guess there's so many limitations with stick and pokes. But also I really like there is like an aesthetic with stick and pokes that you can't replicate with guns, especially with like it's almost gives it a really like dainty look, really like delicate. I find like a big struggle is probably like being unique in a sense. Like I feel like I'm sure tattoo artists like 20 years ago had a whole different set of struggles that they had to deal with, but now it almost is like there is quite like an oversaturation of artists. Like, there's so many on Instagram and how to make your shit stand out. Also, I feel like financially, like working your way up to a point where you can like get your own studio or something like that, or have the equipment you want. Also being confident enough. I feel like so much about it is just like your own confidence. Even like how much you value your work and stuff like that. I reckon that's the biggest struggle. Because yeah, I think so much about it is like the confidence, like just trusting that your hand's gonna do what it knows to do. And if you're confident about it, the tattoo ends up coming out good. But if you've got self-doubt, then I think it actually influences the tattoo a lot. Like my tattoos at the start when I was like so nervous versus like now when I'm a bit, I still get nervous, but like I'm a bit more like self-assured and stuff like that. I feel like I can see the difference, and it's just confidence, I reckon. But yeah, like I feel like people that come through, like people who like get your work and friends, and like even how I was talking about how that like guy came through from so far away, so you feel like a lot more confident about your work, and value yourself a bit more, I think. Found that like the tattoo industry itself is like very like male dominated, very white and stuff, but I think within hand poking culture, I would say like most of the hand pokers I know are like women or like femmes or whatever, and I think it's like that because it's an alternative route into the industry.
Definitely.
So within that community itself, it's quite like everyone's really nice, you know, like everyone wants to like help each other out and lift each other up and work together and stuff. So the fact that like so many people are doing it together makes it easier, I reckon. But at the same time, like even the other day I was thinking about like applying for an apprenticeship in a studio and stuff, and that's quite daunting because the studio world, it seems so different. So much more intense. Even the idea of an apprenticeship, it's about like, you know, just like breaking you the fuck down. I feel like even physically, like it's taking me to kind of like to Sydney. Like, it would be different if I was just coming here just to like visit a mate. I feel like I would treat this trip really differently. But it's also like, oh, I feel like I'm working a bit while I'm here, really nice. And I think the best thing about tattooing for me is like I get to meet like heaps of new people that I actually really fucking like. And like every time I do a tattoo, like even like right now, I feel like it's a service, like it's like we're hanging out and I'm giving you a tattoo, which is really nice. Like I feel like I've met some really dope people that I'm now really close with just through tattooing, and they wouldn't have entered my life if like they didn't like find me and ask me to give them a tattoo or whatever. So in terms of like taking me somewhere, I think that's where I found myself and what I'm happiest about. Just the relationships that I've built through it is like the best thing, I reckon. I feel like tattooing is such an intimate experience. Like you start off a tattoo and you're just making small talk and shit, and then at the end,
to some deep.
Yeah, people are talking about their like relationships with their parents, and you feel like you really like get to know someone after like giving them a tattoo, which is like very beautiful. You can kind of like see how like all those older cultures like viewed tattoos and how much it makes sense, because it's like even in this like even in new age tattooing and stuff like that, there's still remnants of that whole like ritualistic aspect. Well, I think my number one thing for myself is I'd really like to join a studio. I'd really like to get a gun just so that I can like develop my work in that sense, do larger scale stuff, do more challenging pieces and stuff like that. I'd love to like join a studio and also travel, I reckon. I feel like that's like the dopest thing about tattooing is like you can go to other cities, your skill is needed there, or like wanted there at least. You can find jobs there, so hopefully in the future like travel a bit, that would be nice. And there's like the very like practical stuff, like a gun or like a good printer, an iPad, all the things that like just make the job itself easier. But also I feel like social media is just like fucking huge for tattooing. Like that's how people find artists. I don't even know if people still do like walk-ins and shit that much. I don't know, like little things, like even like when people show support on the internet, it goes a long way when it comes to tattooing, I reckon. Because it's like you kind of, that's everything. Like, portfolio, your work, that's how people find you. So, I don't know, like recognition from like other artists that you admire and stuff like that, I feel like that's massive. Like what I was saying before about the whole like handpoke community in Melbourne, like I feel like everyone kind of like plugs each other, which is really nice. Everyone will share each other's work and get tattoos from each other, and I think that makes like a huge difference. Yeah, definitely growing like exponentially. And I think it's pretty crazy. Like I think a lot of like utilizing it is sort of even like, you know, like just marketing yourself, stuff like that. Being open to everything, I think. I think a big thing is just like, I don't know, just not being a cunt about your work, kind of. People get like up themselves with their shit, and I'm just like, nah, I feel like you like stay humble and like open about shit, like opportunities will come your way. And also it'll just like improve your work. As long as I have in my head that like I can keep improving, then I will keep improving. Kind of. Like continuously like admiring others, I feel. Always like looking at yourself, like you can always get better. I think that's the best way to be, and also like uplifting other people, and people will uplift you. My best piece of advice is like literally just fucking do it. Like just do it. It's gonna be fucking weird at the start, and you're gonna be like, what the fuck am I doing? And it's gonna be really scary. But the more you do it, the more fun it gets and the better it is. And like it's, I don't know, we're just like in this whole new time where it's like we're afforded the luxury that we can just like do it if we want to do it. So definitely just pursue it.